Good afternoon, everybody. And this is great. Jamie is not here, and then she's gonna be gone for 2 weeks, right? And I was gonna take my new Bengal cap koi, but he's not cooperating. I think he needs his beauty sleep. He stayed up all night, and now he wanted his sleep. And so I'm gonna talk about lots of people still sometimes PM me and about the disease. So I'm gonna do the winter more in depth. And I'm not sure what I did this morning is where I walked the nursery and I went to scope some of the plant I think have some disease problem. And a lot of time, the disease is actually can be preventative. And for example, Jeff, want you see this? Can you see the water here? Okay, you know, the volume of the water that we, the plant that we have, sometime, and this is also a perfect example. They got watered yesterday over the weekend, and you know, we do not have enough staff. Usually, if we have enough staff, then this should have gone to. You should never allow this to stay. The water to stay here. Okay, so but it's happened. So a lot of time what I do with this for this, try not to get any of your water stay there, especially when you water them. When you have your private collection, you do have not as many plants. This is the perfect example. I would, since it got overnight, and I'm actually taking the plant away from the bench and use your Clorox wax. And this is a good time to clean up all this mildew. A lot of your novelty Phalaenopsis over the summer because they have the honeydew, the honey sac from the flower and the spike. So the entire summer, this is a good time to kind of clean them up. And this fungi, the blackish color here, it doesn't kill the orchid. Not all the fungi are bad or cause the disease. This is fungi that just go after the honey. So the plant like this, what I usually try to tell my staff, because of the pandemic, or we have actually 2 staff is actually short this month. And so this is the perfect example that where I'm going to take it away from the bench, because the way the plant have a wrinkle that they had this scope here, this happened when the plant, the leaf is developing, and instead of flat like this, what they usually do, it might got too dry during the summer. So they will kind of, instead of going flat, they do not have enough water. So they kind of shrink a little bit. Curl. The curl. So this curl will cause this. So every time in water, if I put it on the flat, it's going to collect water. So you will see this a lot on the novelty Phalaenopsis, especially in the summertime. Okay, so this is a good target is to take it and tilt it. Okay, so either I can, I think this is a perfect example to, I have beautiful root system, and this is a perfect example. I would prefer to have this one here to be mounted or put it in a basket, and or I can tilt it in a 45-degree angle. So there's always water here. This is the Bellina Sururii. Look at this. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spikes. So this is maybe I should do a potting mounted. You can mount this either in the winter time, especially if you have the heat mat. I think Sunny had been using very successfully with the heat mat. And so this is the example. Try not to, this is the preventative. Try to not to have water collect either on the leaf or the crown. So a lot of time after the water, it's more the issue in the winter time, because in the summertime we have so much air movement and the sun is longer. The sun doesn't set until the 7 o'clock. But now it's in the winter time. It doesn't get as hot. The day doesn't get as long, so they don't dry out as often. So this is why I think in the winter time right now, you're gonna have more. A lot of time you usually have more disease problem, and disease is indirectly caused by the water here retained on the leaf. So try to get your leaf as dry as possible by evening. Okay, and this is a tray. I'm happen to walk into a greenhouse today, and I want to give you, this is exactly the same tray. This is the Gigantea hybrid. You notice that some of the older leaf is turning yellow. Okay, and this is why a lot of time when you sending question on our group, it's better to explain your situation, because we don't live with your orchid, and you instead of say what's wrong with this, so it's better to say, okay, I go under light, or I go in the greenhouse at home, your room temperature, yada yada yada. This is a perfect example of when I was awake last weekend at the retreat at Oregon, and I think I left on Sunday, Friday, Thursday night. On Wednesday, our plumber was coming here to check on all the greenhouse, the unit heater, make sure all the combustion for the unit heater is working well. So what happened usually, they will turn off the heater for testing, and it just happened one of the greenhouse in number 1. Guess what? He forgot to turn it back on. Oh, so Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 3 days when I was away, I think the temperature went down to 48 degrees at night. From 60 degree, minimum 60 to 48. So this is very drastic. A lot of orchid can take, usually they can take a lot cool. I have Bonina and Valencia in my career house down to 48, 45, no problem. But they will gradually, slowly, and they actually conditioned used to it. So this is a perfect example of when you have such a problem, go to a checklist. Okay, so not every plant, the standard white, standard yellow, no problem, because we keep the plant dry. But there are some plant, for example, like Gigantea hybrid. This one here is a see this one. This is Gigantea alba, cross with yellow novelty. So it's not killing the plant, but it's actually the plant is killing them. This is the physiology effect. Okay, they turn in, it's a shock for them, and it's not going to kill the plant. Obviously, I'm not going to sell it, and I'm also not going to do anything. There are times, if it really bothers you, you can actually not using knife, but using just peel off. Okay, but this is something that we want to flower them and see them. I usually, I think on my previous talk, I usually just let them dry off naturally. That way they can have a seal detach, so there's no wound here. So now I have created a wound now. So a lot of time, and this is Gigantea, so I want to be extra caution about. I'm going to, if you have to make some cut, and there's a one here, and they're very close to the crown, so you can actually put some concentrated Physin, just some drop on where I pour the plant. So if you don't have to pour the plant, don't do it. I know there are sometimes you have to go to orchid show and you cannot have yellow leaf because that make a difference between the blue and yellow ribbon. Okay, so always, this is why I always had the 5-cent solution. And concentrate a couple drop is not going to kill the plant. It's actually it's better than any of the cinnamon. And I do not like to use diluted solution to spray on them because diluted is too diluted. It's not strong enough. And you got extra water. It's actually going to help create more problem here. So this concentrated 5-cent, we did it on the crown before. We did it. Now you can do it on the side. It's just going to snap, a seal. Okay. So these are all the same hybrid. So now don't worry. This shock of coal is also cause even have more flower. And a lot. How old are those guys? These are about 4 years old. Okay, and you're going to see some discoloration from the coal because these are younger leaf. Okay, so that is okay. So this is what happens in the wintertime. If you this time of the year, whether in your greenhouse, whether if you have if your orchid by the windowsill, it's getting too much yellow. The senescence, too much senescence at one point. Senescence on the yellow on the bottom leaves, one at a time, is normal. But when you have a pair like this one here, at the same time, this is not normal. So if you are in the windowsill, put it away from your window. Any of your novelty, especially Gigantea and Boliensis, Bolina, they like warm. Put away from the window. Window is getting very cold. And in the greenhouse, I know the heating is going to be a problem this year in the East Coast. Many people are turning off their thermostat to be lower to save the propane gas. So do it gradually. You can actually, a lot of your Phalaenopsis can tolerate cooler temperature below 60. But remember, you have to hold back on the water. It's better to leave it on the dry side. Or some people, you can simply move your tropical. If you want to turn your greenhouse to down to like 55 or 50, move all your tropical plant, like Phalaenopsis, lavender, into your house. Okay, this is time to maybe consider to set up an underlight stand and grow your orchid under light, and because you are heating your house already. Okay, your house is minimum 60 degrees. Whatever is comfortable for you is comfortable for them. So this is a perfect example of the shock, because they're going from 60 degree minimum down to 45 overnight, because our temperature here, so that is a shock. So this is actually a physiology effect on them. So what I'm going to do with this, you don't have to do anything. Do not water them. They're very moist. Okay, you can actually the greenhouse back on. The greenhouse is, I think, back on. They're back to 60 degrees already. So I'm not going to do any watering. So they are shocked, and actually they're actually going to reward you with, I can expect to see a lot, maybe 2 spikes one way the leaf fall off. Okay, so I'm going to put this away. So be careful with your novelty Phalaenopsis, and I don't get a benefit, but do consider getting this kind of heat mat under the heat mat, especially for the novelty. And ask questions. Sunny have a lot of experience with this. Everything's available on Amazon, and there's a thermostat you can control. Okay, so this is what caused this. So a lot of times, this is another perfect example. Oh my goodness. Okay, there are times when I say orchid can bloom themselves to death. This is a perfect example. Look at this. Okay, it's dry. Okay, but all the energy is they've been blooming for about 2 years. Okay, so this is a perfect example. Don't let your flower if I don't, this is to save the plant. The plant is really stressed. It's not only dehydrated. Okay. Remember what I said about when the moss is completely wet, dry? They're very hard to re-wet. So I'm going to. This is the only way to wet them is actually soaking in the water, but it's best to cut off the flower spike because right now all the energy is on the flower spike. They did not put up any new leaf over the winter. So this is another example that I am going to soak it, but I'm going to soak it in the diluted physin solution. Okay, because the plant is stressed. When the plant is stressed, their immune system is less. So they are actually very vulnerable to any fungi attack, especially in the winter time. Okay, so make up a 1 gallon solution, and just a 1 gallon solution, dilute it, and you can actually just soak it. It's going to take a couple hours, and all the physin solution, they soak it up. Your plant, you can actually submerge the whole plant. It's going to really disinfect the whole plant. It's going to clean out everything, and you can just resume what you do in the summertime. And you need to put out new leaf, okay, and then put it in the warmest spot as possible. Okay. And here's another one in the same greenhouse. Did not have a heat for 2-3 days. So here's another what I call freeze. This is not caused by disease, but rather the shock of the cold. There is not disease infection. So this is more of the physiology response to the cold damage. So in this case, you do want to remove, and I don't want this. It's hard to do it. You do want to get a very sharp knife or razor blade and remove this, because what happened later on, as they decayed on the leaf, they might have mycelium or fungi form up. Okay, and then just make sure you throw this away, and pinch out the leaf and check the moisture. You can actually put your finger in it. They still has some moisture, so the best time to just leave it on the dry side. Okay, and to be on the safe side, I'm worried about this here. You see here is yellowish, but I don't want to. I do not want to take it away. So you put a couple drops of the concentrated. This will not only on Phalaenopsis, but also on the Cattleya. Couple more drops. So that's going to go inside. The crown, and then put it aside. Remember what we showed you before, and Jeff, we're going to show this again. Okay, I'm going to set it aside. What about a crown rod? The next one will be a crown rod. This is the perfect example of crown rod. Jeff, you can see this. This is the case. Cut it a little bit too late. Water staying here. Jeff, can you see? You see it? The water stay here, and they are getting some infection. So this is a typical seeding. I usually don't save them. We just had to discard it with a trash can. But I'm gonna use this as an example. Make sure you wipe your hand between the plant. Don't worry, it doesn't hurt them. You are doing this. They are actually this, or if you don't remove it, there's going to be more. And then the growing tips is still good. Jeff, I don't know if you can see the growing tip here. This is a very good situation. This is good. You see in here, the growing tip, the upper meristem is so green, but it still has some slight shoot here. I'm going to remove some of the bottom leaf. Okay. This have more than 70% is going to survive because it has a very beautiful root system. Okay. And I'm also going to cut out, there's a spike there. I'm going to cut out the flower spike. The flower spike is going to take out even more energy. So I'm going to cut out the flower spike. Again. Concentrate it into the crown. And you can do this whenever you have a crown rot, okay? So this is a perfect example of what we did in the summertime. This was even worse. It did not even have any foliage at all. But I told you that once you have a good root, see the root is still alive. So there's a potential. So what we did before, we put a concentrated physin solution, and what we did before also.
There's toothpicks on the side.
Huh?
There's toothpicks at the side. No, on the other side.
Okay. Oh yeah. Remember this one here? This is my 2-in-1 cakey paste. You always need one. Okay. So, assuming we have this is dry out after a couple hours, put a concentrated cakey paste into the crown. So this actually serves as the way. This is the 2-in-1 cakey paste. I did it. This is actually from the carnitine. Carnitine is organic cytokinin from the corn and oxen. So I use this is what my 2-in-1 is work and like fantastic, because this is we're not using the really synthetic plant hormone. This all, and so I throw this away because it's okay. So then once you have a crown rotted plant, you don't have to water them. In fact, Jeff water this whenever he see necessary. So this is actually worse than this. So it now have a cakey, and I save the plant. And this particular one is a beautiful summer rose. It's a meristem. So it's the one over the summer. This is a cakey, and I'm still waiting for now.
That's the original one that we started with.
Yes.
That's the very first.
So this will be this in about 3 to 4 months, and I'm still waiting. I'm going to repot them next spring when it get bigger. Okay. And here's the one we did have crown rot before. Okay, and now
that's the last one that you did.
That's the last one we did
6 or 8 weeks ago.
Yeah. So, but I see some problem here. This is the latent contamination of the fungi. So I had no choice. Now, the reason I did not cut this off earlier, because if the plant is the leaf are okay, try to save the leaf, because the leaf can do photosynthesis. But I see now is the time I had to surgically separate the leaf now, because it looks like this is a disease. It's not a fungi. Okay, it haven't break yet, so I suspect it's a fungi. If it's a bacterial, it will be really fast, and the bacteria has an order. So now I'm going to separate this. Always frame your tool. I love this. Always good to wash out all the If you work, I used to work in the tissue culture laboratory, so it's always a habit to spray our hand. Otherwise, when we do the aseptic culture, you got contamination. Okay. And again, so this is kind of follow up what we did before. I'm going to put again on the concentrated physin. Okay, and then let it dry. Okay, and maybe tomorrow or once your air dry, there's no more physin in there. When you do the cakey paste, you're not only going to put some on the crown, you also can put some inside this axillary. There are some axillary bud inside, so they're actually going to give you maybe possible a rosé 2 or 3 from the side here if you do the 2-in-1 cakey paste in here. Okay, and whenever you are doing your mega dry, make sure you also spray your mega dry on the leaf. If you don't have the mega dry, if you don't have a leaf, in a case like this, you can save some of your mega dry diluted solution and actually water in also, because remember the root is still alive and the root can pick up the mega dry there. Okay, all right, so this is what you do with the crown rod, and we're going to follow up on this one here. And we always put this on the side, and even the lady zipper. Okay, here's one. We haven't actually do anything to this one for about a month. I'm gonna get a new toothpaste, and you always do the new toothpaste for any plant. You got a new cakey here. I'm gonna do more of the cakey paste on the side because I want to encourage more new root to come out. Okay, and it will not hurt. It will not hurt. And cakey paste is actually majority of them are petroleum, so they're going to stick there, and because they are not synthetic, they are natural hormone, so they're going to actually absorb through the leaf. And this is I'm going to cut this off now. Okay, so Jeff, if I'm going to focus on this one here, this is the original crown. Can you see this? This is the original crown of the Paphiopedium meloponensis. So the crown rod did not go all the way inside to the root because we stop it with concentrated physin solution, and later on we also did the cakey paste in the center, and that's how we resolve with this. And now, not only with the cakey paste, not only I have one new one coming up, I just noticed that there's another one coming up. 2. Okay, that's a good sign. And I apply the cakey paste again today because I want to encourage to have a root coming down. And with a new root, this will be developed into a 2 new rosé of plant. So don't be afraid of if a plant have crown rod. Even plant in the wild, they do have this. That happen to them, and a lot of time they come back. So they do have a lot of immune system, and this is why I don't spray a lot of fungicide in my nursery, hardcore fungicide, because a lot of time most of the fungicide nowadays it just suppress, and I want the plant to develop their own immune system, and we had to spray pesticide because plant cannot fight off the pests like we can. We have arms, we have legs, we can kick them. But plant cannot. But they do have a immune system. They can, just like us. We have immune system. We can fight off some of the flu virus and so on. So here's another one. We're going to put here and set them aside. How are we doing so far? Okay. Here's another example. Okay. I just saw this, and don't worry. This is from the new leaf, and this is also from the new greenhouse that have that the heater did not work. So don't panic. I think this is the time for some you can pray surgeon in this time. So this is the infection. You want to cut at least 2 inches above the last infection area. You had to cut this out. If you don't cut it off, you're gonna cut all the way down. And luckily, this is fungi. It's not bacterial. It's bacterial in the summer. In the winter time, there's not much bacterial problem because bacteria thrive on the hot and humid weather. Warm day, warm night. Right now, your bacterial problem should decrease, but now you are facing another cold fungi, Fusarium, not Fusarium, the Pseudomonas, for example, but they are slower, so you have more time to react. And I'm going to this is the new leaf. I'm just going to cut it off right here. See here? I like to cut in an angle very similar to the new growth. And other than that, yellow leaf, that's no problem. It's part of the synesis. Okay, I'm gonna leave it alone. Okay, and then if you want, you can also have a tube brush, Q-tips, pour some of the concentrated phycin, and then also seal this area here. Here's another one. What's wrong with this? This is the banana hybrid, but this is one of those twin. Okay, so this is another case. Is actually a coal. Okay, this is the not okay. Nice root. They should not have like this. So this is a coal damage. I'm gonna break this off. Okay. Because I'm going to, and then put a couple concentrated, I think, where I break it. Okay, beautiful root, do it in, and they are getting too much sun. Okay, they are bright with the greenhouse. They're very hot. They're very bright, and because I do not have bottom heating, I do not have under light. So right now the greenhouse is only about 8. The sunset at 4 o'clock. They don't get 12 hours. So the plant itself is not going to their vegetative stage. So they actually, unless you have under light, they go all year round, 12 hours. But now, I'm going to give them the rest. So I'm going to plant the banana like this in the winter time. For me, in the greenhouse, I usually actually give them less light. So they are actually getting too much light. They're okay. But the younger leaf, or maybe okay, but the older leaf, they're not used to it. So this is why you see this yellowish. There's not disease. It's just the physiology or response to tell me, hey, I don't like it. I'm getting too much sun. Back off. Okay, so I'm gonna move this to the other side, the north side of the greenhouse, and then the south side of the greenhouse is when I start putting this kind of standard phalaenopsis, because your standard phalaenopsis should be spiking, so they are going to be flower, so you can get in your better real estate of your window or your growing space for them. The novelty, unless you go in under light, if you are just a windowsill or greenhouses, get in shadier. Giving shadier space. Okay, and here's another example of the. Remember what I mentioned to you about Miltonopsis? Not to repot Miltonopsis in the summertime, because in the Miltonopsis in the summertime they go dormant. So it's really hot today. And now the weather is cool off now. They are thriving. In fact, look at this. Okay, but I still think I haven't seen any root here yet. So I'm not going to divide them. But what you should do, the plant like this in the wintertime, because Unseeding alliances like this, they tend to collect water here. So before you got to have a chance to repot, this is the time to really clean up. Make sure you take up all this suitable, all this sheet here, out. You see here, Jeff? See this here? You see the all sheet here? Oh my God, look at all the black spot. Those are all fungi mycelium. Okay, and if I don't take it out, and it's a fungi, it's a situation, right? You have any infection, your fingernail have a cut, they go right in. So, and a lot of time, if you keep on the scheduling of 5 cents, a teaspoon per gallon of water, it actually will cut down on this fungi. But this is a good housekeeping to get all this brown one, because I'm gonna wait, because the shoot I haven't seen any root yet, but I'm gonna have the cakey paste to help with the rooting. So if you unseeded alliance, this is the same logic as your Catalea or even Dendrobium also. Okay, so I'm going to expose to the base. Since I cut off any of your shoot here, you can use Q-tips or toothpaste. I'm going to use this eye as example. Put it in the base, and that is going to help you to spread out a lot of root coming up. And once you have a see the root coming up, and I'm going to leave this one here, and maybe about a month, I'm going to use this as an example of how to repot, because this all Metonopsis, this is going to flower for you in the springtime, about April or May. So I'm going to use this about how to repot them. Okay, so remember what I told you this summer? Metonopsis in the summertime, never repot them, because after the flower finish in May, in the springtime, they go dormant. It's hot. They want to take a union break. But now the weather's cool off, very similar to their species native country in Colombia. They kind of wake up because it's cooler for them. So this is what you're getting. Oh, this beautiful, beautiful plant. So I'm going to leave this one here, and we're going to revisit this plant. And Jeff, you're going to remind me, we're going to do this on the repotting of these unseeded alliances, and sometimes even Catalea. Okay, there are some you can repot. You can do this for the spring. Okay, so
what month are we going to do that?
We're going to do that in probably about the end of the third week. Yeah, the end of, yeah. I'm going to see how the root come in. I'm going to use this as an example. It's all based on how this plant doing. Okay.
Okay.
And this is another example. It's kind of fun to watch the greenhouse. Again, need to be repotted, but I don't want to repot them right now, because, well, for example, right now it's winter time, and this is not a novelty. This is actually a standard Phalaenopsis, and even though they really need to be repotted, but it's okay. The moss is not decaying. They should be spiking pretty soon from here. Okay, so I don't want to repot them, but I do want to do something about it. This is not disease. Guess what? It's from sunburn. Okay, so this is the case of the sunburn, but you do need to remove them, because what happened with this after the sunburn, this tissue is drying up and they're going to decompose. When they are decomposed, they're going to invite you gotta have fungi to decompose. That fungi is part of decomposition. So then you're gonna have disease problem. So it's best. This is the time. Okay. I should. You see here? I make a small cut. It's not going to be that pretty, but at least you save the plant. And if you have Q-tip, make a Q-tip using some of the concentrated and seal it, or simply leave it dry. Right now, in my condition, in the greenhouse condition, is less than 50%. It's not. If you're in Florida, it's very high. If your area is very, very high humidity, more than 55%, then I do recommend to seal them with concentrated 5 cent. Right now, we have 80 degrees outside. It's really dry here, so you can either seal them, or I can just use it as a perfect example to show you. I'm just let them air dry them. So I'm going to take my chance, but I don't know my chance is good. They're not going to have infection. Okay. Okay, I think I covered a lot of stuff. So prevention, keep your warm grower, know your plant. If you're a warm grower, make sure your greenhouse, or if you go in a house, if they get too close to the window, it's okay in the summertime. Maybe this is the time to move away from it, because where the window is really cold. And put it under the light. If you have a shelf on that, if you do have to turn on your greenhouse lower temperature tonight, this winter, because the propane is almost double. Group all your tropical, you can actually train your plant to be lower, but just remember this: do not water. Keep it as dry as possible. With the temperature went down, the plant is not going to be active, so they're going to slow down. They don't need that much water anymore. But you can also just foliage feeding, just wet the foliage only, and still keeping the potting media wet. And if you're in the greenhouse, only water when the sun is up. If the sun is not up, I skip it, because it's going to be cool and moist. So you're going to do more damage on watering on the cloudy day. Okay, but if you under the light, I think you had the best way. They growing year round. Yes, Jeff, you okay, Jeff? Okay, good. And air movement. Make sure a lot of plenty of air movement. In my greenhouse, we have air movement. We kind of shut it off right now because of the podcast. We had air movement 24 hours. Especially at night, we can
see the fan running back.
Yeah, you can see the fan running. Yeah, okay. That way, with the weather like this, they should be, but always before the evening. Even if you go under the light, make sure you always tilt the leaf. Make sure that if the leaf have collect some water there, that's my first example. Drain it up, clean it up. Okay. Keep up, please do, keep up with your minimum of 1 teaspoon per gallon of 5 cent during this time of the year. You don't want to cut off guard. Okay. Right now, even though we don't have bacteria like what we have in the summertime, but fungi is going to have a field day. Remember, that's why we get so much mushroom outside the field, outside your tree. Fungi love the cool and moist. So is botrytis. Okay, so this is why you start cleaning all your dead leaf. Okay, and anything that will cause decomposition, they'll have fungi in present. And sanitation, I try to give a process between each plant. I try to clean my leaf, because very easy as I'm removing some of the old leaf, there's a lot of the fungi there. It's probably on my hand. And this is a lot of times that's how we transmit pest and disease, especially pests. A lot of the time people will say, But I don't have mini bud. How can I have mini bud this year? Well, guess what? Mini buds, not just mini bud this year. The weather is so extreme this year. When we walk outside, our pen, our shoe will pick up something, head tracking from something from outside. And if you have, for example, have a lot of hibiscus in the landscape, hibiscus, a lot of plant, you host of the mini bud. So then this is why a lot of time we do not use a lot of house plant in the greenhouse, which is trying to be monocrop, because I seen greenhouse even put on the under the bench ground cover have some kind of vine, ivy, and I said, oh my God, because you never able to clean up what's below the bench, and whatever's go down there, ivy go on top of it, and that under the bench is where is a host of a lot of problem coming up. Okay, so you don't want to live in a situation that your floor have all kind of dead leaf and so on. So that's it. Follow my instruction. The feeding is also very important. A good feeding will have your plant more stronger to fight off some of the fungi infection. Okay, fungi is everywhere, but they do have their own immune system to fight them back. Jeff, can you show me the banana? Okay, I'm gonna show Jeff. Yeah. If I tell you, none of our banana like this, we don't spray fungicide. No fungicide. Just no hardcore fungicide. Just 5 cents as a preventative. You can do it. Okay. This is sometimes may not be all this a little bit yellowish. This is from the sun, the heat stress. That's okay. I don't always. That's why if you buy the organic apple not going to have the perfect shape and the plant's going to reward you with stronger. And this is why sometimes the banana, I think we have customers that have 5 spikes. Sunny have the Princess Mikasa with 6, 9 spikes, and constantly, because they're not suppressed by the fungicide to tell them to do the other way. They are free. They are very free spirit. Okay, and so this will conclude today's talk. And next week we're going to do the pests. Yes, there are some pests that we had a concern for the winter time. And so, any question before I move on to?
No, but Jamie wanted us to mention that we're going to do the not so secret Santa starting December 1st. She's going to start pairing up people drawing names. So if you haven't signed up and you want to be part of the not so secret Santa, please review Corey's post. It's up an announcement. If everybody who wants to sign up can sign up here in the next few days, Jamie's going to start pairing up people.
Great! Wow. Okay. All right, Jamie. How's Utah?
Nice and warm. I think they're running around in sandals and bathing suits.
Utah? I thought it was cold over there. Okay, so one thing I want to message across. If they are running out of a lot of supply because of COVID. Okay, if you think about, I'm going to order my moss next spring, no, order now. We still have good supply of moss, and there are shortage of moss already in Asia. They cannot get any new moss from Chile because whatever the inventory they have was that we have even here is from 2018, 2019. Because of COVID, 2020, they did not go to harvest the Spanish moss, which is the best quality moss. And so there's a shortage right now. So they're not going to see any good supply of the moss until 2024. So if you're thinking about the supply, I'm going to do it next spring, do it now because I just put in my order for 2024. And even I have some 10 kilogram customer. I have some friend in Miami they want me to sell to them. I said, what's wrong? They don't even have moss in Miami anymore, the big one. Okay, so get your moss in right now, because it's not funny. Is you don't want to cut short-handed. Once I sell off my little package, I think I have 500 milligram, 1 kilogram, and up to 3 kilogram. I cannot get it until 2024. Okay, so don't get you cut short, buy extra on the